Good afternoon and welcome to the Sim Racing Network. We're coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona for the Phoenix International Speedway for the Sim500 FEG Entertainment Group K&N Series race. 140 laps, sunshiny. Looks like it'll be a great day. Beside me today is Mitch Rollo, and our up here in the booth with me got Aaron Grosskopf producing this one, folks. We're in for some excitement tonight. Mitch, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a good race, John. Here, the old configuration of Phoenix in Phoenix, Arizona. So the track a little bit bumpier, and you'll notice no big apron down there after you come out of turn number 2. So these guys are going to be a lot tighter than they're used to being coming off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway there.
That's very true. There is no new dog leg, as they call it. Turn 2 is still kind of a narrow as you come up off of it. And I did see some guys in practice that apparently didn't realize where they were at, and they grabbed that curb pretty hard there, coming off and down onto that little curb, which upsets the car greatly. Right now we're doing qualifying. We've got some favorites that, they're up at the top of the field like they normally are. Pace, Steve Sheehan, Jordan Hightower, and of course some of our other guys that we're used to seeing fast have been having a hard time. One of those is Tommy Ryan, another one is Jason Jacoby. But other than that, this track is it's got basically 3, or I guess 2.5 different turns. You've got turn 1 down there. It's got a little bit of banking to it. You've got that dog leg as you come off of 2. And then you got that low, long, flat, sweeping turn 3. Provides kind of an interesting way to get around this track.
It does, John. And with these two ends of this track being so different, these guys are going to have to adjust their lines, going from 1 and 2 to 3 and 4 and vice versa. And they're going to have to be able to adjust in order to be able to get to the front tonight and contend for this win.
And another thing that you got to look out for on this track, the old configuration eats tires. We've been saying that pretty much every race, every track we go to, but it is that new tire model that iRacing came out with. But the good news for these drivers, for the ones that can, take care of their tires, take care of their vehicle for the long run, is that once they hit a certain point, that fall off kind of plateaus, and they really don't lose a whole lot after that.
Absolutely, John. Pretty long race tonight, 140 laps, so these guys are going to have to pace themselves too on this Phoenix International Raceway.
That's right, pacing and taking care of those that equipment's always important. So we're going to go ahead and show our track facts real quick here. This is, as I said, Phoenix International Raceway, located out there in Avondale, Arizona, out west. It's a little hair over 1 mile in length. 1.022 is the official length. Opened in 1964, and like I said earlier, it's kind of a flat track. We got 8 to 9 degrees of banking throughout these turns. That last final turn before you come back onto the front stretch, which is the front stretch, the old front stretch. Now I think it's the actual back stretch with the new configuration. But as you come across that turn there, it's pretty flat. Seats 45,000. It's kind of got a short track feel to it, even though it's a mile in length. It's these turns come up pretty quick on these guys, so it really does feel like a good short track race. Fixed setups, we've got 140 laps, which comes about 143 miles.
And it does, John. Phoenix usually puts on some pretty good racing, some bumping and banging. Probably should expect that here tonight with these guys. We've seen in the past with these Sim500 guys, they don't take it easy. They go hard every single lap and try and get every position they can. No waiting around. So it's going to be an exciting race to watch here on the Sim Racing Network on YouTube.
Absolutely, Mitch. Every time we say, oh, they'll probably take it easy for the first 10 laps or so, they turn around and within 1 lap, we got guys nudging each other out of the way using the chrome bumper, stuff like that. But in the meantime, qualifying is just about wrapped up here. We've got, it looks like, about 27 cars in the field, 26, I can't really tell. We just lost one. I don't know if he's trying to reconnect or not. That was Sean Dewar from Old School Motorsports. We'll see if he gets back in here in time for the race to go green. In the meantime, I believe once the qualifying is finished and we have our pole sitter, we're going to try and get an interview with him today, I believe. Right, Mitch?
We'll see if we can find our temporary pole sitter right now. It looks like he's probably going to down that pole, and as time runs out, he is going to be on the pole for tonight's race. Steve Sheehan at number 66, John. I don't see him anywhere on the radio scanner here, so I don't know that we're going to be able to pull him up for an interview.
Well, that's all right. We'll probably get a chance to talk to him later, I'm sure. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the car. Sorry about that, folks. A little technical difficulty there. We're running the K&N Series tonight at Phoenix International Raceway. It's the look at the car is brought to you by Understand Batteries. It's a manufacturer of Chevy. It's the old Impala. You guys might remember it was the Busch Grand National or Xfinity Series, I guess you could say, back in the early 2000s. It's a great little car. It's 4-speed manual, steel body, 105-inch wheelbase, a little over 3,300 pounds. They're not light, but I tell you what, that engine they got under the hood, that thing will get up and go at 650 horsepower. So here we go, folks. We're going to go ahead and give you the rundown of the qualifying order. Starting on the pole there in the 66 car is Steve Sheehan. Outside of him, the 00 is Larry Pace.
Starting third tonight at number 42 is David Comstock, and his outside is Jordan Hightower starting fourth in that number 25.
And bringing it in fifth, the inside row of row 3 there is Mike Kelly in the 2. Outside of him in number 6 spot is E.J. O'Rourke in the 41 car.
Bobby Terrell is going to start 7th tonight, and outside of him is going to be that 20 of Chad Coleman starting 8th.
And inside row 5 in the 9th place is Doug Simmon in the 06. And to his outside, starting 10th, Nelson Rivera in the 22 car. The rest of the field will roll, will tick by there on your ticker at the bottom of the screen, showing you who qualified where. We're going to go ahead and have a pace lap here. Right now, folks, our track temp is 104 degrees. It was 116 during qualifying. And don't forget, we've got dynamic skies now here in iRacing. What that means is this cloud cover will come and go. The sun will shine a few times. It'll probably get a little cloudy, which changes track conditions, changes track temperature, which changes the way these cars handle. So we look for a lot of trying to keep up with the weather changes throughout the run of this race.
That way, John, as we're heading through 3 and 4, the pace lights are off on that pace car, and we're getting ready to go green here in the Sim500 FEG K&N Series.
That long sweeping final turn that I was talking about earlier, really flat, but it's a really good place to go and pass people. The pace car ducks down. We're green, and Sheehan gets off to a pretty decent little start. Noses out to about probably and a half lead over the 00.
Into turn number 1, the battle is for second. That's the first battle on the track between Larry Pace and David Comstock. Off turn number 2, Comstock is at his rear quarter panel. Now he's going to pull up just about even with that 00 of Larry Pace heading into turn number 3.
That's a big fight we've got going on with the 42 of Comstock on the inside, the 00 of Pace on the outside, fighting for that second spot. And you can see as they come through that flat turn coming back down the front stretch, it looks like the 00 is going to take the second spot there away from Comstock.
And now Hightower poking his nose in above David Comstock. Looks like that top line, John, is going to be the line to beat here early in the race. Look at that run off the corner by Jordan Hightower. And Comstock now falling back another spot if Jordan Hightower is able to clear him off of turn number 4.
Well, that's the thing right there, though, is you might get a run through 1 and 2 up on that high side, but when you get down there to that last turn, 3 and 4, you really don't want to be outside like that. There's no grip up there, and the car is going to lose a lot of ground there. In the meantime, out front, it looks like the 66 and 00 checked out just a little bit. First and second there, Steve Sheehan in first, and Larry Pace in second. Behind them is Comstock in the 42, and Hightower is there in fourth, and just behind them is our points there, the 20 car, Chad Cole.
And right now I'm looking at a battle for about the 5th spot there for Coleman. E.J. O'Rourke just got around the number 2 of Mike Kelly for that spot. Now he's chasing after Chad Coleman. Everything kind of single filing out a little bit back here. Way back in the field, John, we have a few battles, but nothing too crazy here earlier on at Phoenix.
Yeah, Mitch, that's right. You know, they're making us look bad again. So it's gonna be really bang them up type of start to the race, and here they are just being easy with each other. But that's okay. We know these guys are fighters. They'll fight for every square inch on the track. Right now, I think they're just trying to get a feel for this track. I don't think very many of them have a lot of experience on here, with the exception of E.J. O'Rourke. I've actually raced against him on this track prior to this evening. That was a few weeks ago. He knows his way around this track. One thing to watch out for is as they come down through turns 1 and 2, and like I said earlier, with the new configuration, it's a little bit wider right there, but with this old configuration, it's very narrow coming off the 2, so if you're not careful, you'll put the right front of your car and do a little bit of damage as you come off the turns.
That it will. And John, I'm noticing the track is under complete cloud cover now. Not a lick of sunshine coming through on this thing, so this track is going to cool right off and create a little more grip to it for these guys, which should create a little bit more of a racy condition on this track, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah, we've already lost 3 degrees in track temperatures down to 101 now, and that's one of the great things that iRacing came up with, if you ask me, is this dynamic weather, dynamic skies. It just really keeps the drivers on toes. We've got a fight for lead going down to 1. It looks like Pace really sent it down in there, and he's going to wash up just a little bit. He's going to have to get out the gas just to keep from running to Sheehan on the outside there, and Sheehan maintains his lead, which gives Comstock a chance to catch up to Pace on the outside, fighting for that second spot.
Battle for a second here. Comstock on the outside, trying to get that run off of turn number 4. They get real close to the middle of 3 and 4, and Comstock going to come away with the second spot here and set his sights on that number 66, the leader, Steve Sheehan.
I'll tell you what, he made that look easy, didn't he? He passed him on the outside of that turn right there, which is, that's not something I've ever been very good at, but he made it work, Comstock did. So he takes over that second spot, and like you said, he's got his sights set on the leader now. Back behind them, in that 6th place is EJ O'Rourke in the 41. EJ started this race right where he's at right now, but he's looking to get past the number 20 of Coleman, our current points leader right now. He's been on that bumper for the last 5 or 6 laps there. What do you think, Mitch? Is he going to make that pass anytime soon, or is he just going to kind of cut some slack there and wait and see how the tires wear out?
Looked like EJ lost a little bit of ground on the 20 that time.
He got in the wall right there.
He got in the wall right there, so not what EJ was looking for. Looking like he was having some issues getting around that 20 and kind of messed up his line a little bit. Now he slides back another 2 spots in behind that number 2 of Mike Kelly, and he's going to slide back a little bit more here as the 5 above each row gets up. So EJ O'Rourke sliding backwards here early in the going here at Phoenix.
Yeah, it looked like the 41 O'Rourke got a little loose coming off the 2. And like I said, that's a narrow turn, so he's chasing that car up the track, trying to keep it from spinning out, and got just a little bit into the wall there. Didn't do too much damage, but did cost him a couple, well, 1 spot really. He was in 6th when that happened. Now he's back there in 7th. But in the meantime, back up front, it looks to me like our leader is just kind of checking out there. He's got himself about a half a second lead. It was only 3/10 last time by. I think Sheehan's got his pace set on this track. What do you think?
I think you're right, John. Comstock, though, we've seen it in the past with David Comstock. He knows how to save his stuff, and that may be what he's doing here, just saving his stuff, waiting for the right time to try and run up there and catch that number 66 car. But if he's not careful, you have that number, that 00 of Larry Pace behind him, who might pass him for second and try and run up and get to that number 66 and try and pass him for the lead. So he's going to have to go sooner rather than later here, John.
Yeah, I tell you, I think Pace is again just learning his way around this track, trying to find a where the fast groove is and where the tires run best, and I think that's why he lost that spot to begin with. To be honest with you, I think he was just trying to figure out how the best way to get around this track, because he's all over that back bump of the 42 now, darts down to the inside, coming down the front stretch, going to send it down into 1, trying to take that spot back away from the 42.
And off of turn number 2. Looks like Comstock's going to have the better run with that top side. That's going to be important here. I think probably throughout the whole race, John, having that top side, especially in turns 1 and 2, as you see Comstock denies Pace the battle, or the second position, and takes it back from him as Pace.
He's going to loop it right there on the front stretch.
And caution's that's going to bring out our first caution, John. Wow.
Yeah. Again, that's just a dangerous part about this track.
And off of 4 there, it just looks like he clipped the wall a little bit and it upset the car, and he ended up getting sideways and just looping it around. Unfortunate for Larry Pace. Looked like he had a bad car. I don't think he really hit the car too bad from what I'm seeing here on the replay, John, but nonetheless, unfortunate set of circumstances for Larry Pace.
That's true. That's a little bit of minor damage, and this isn't a very aero-dependent track. You can get some damage on this track and still be competitive just as long as you don't puncture a radiator or anything like that. Tell you what, though, I don't think the cars behind him realized that there was a wreck in front of him, because Jacoby came flying down through there full bore, never even hit the brakes, it looks like, but avoided damaging anybody else there, and we carry on.
And now, John, I think we're going to see everyone come to pit road here under our first caution, lap 15. I think everyone's going to come down and get 4 fresh ones here.
Absolutely. Tires are premium here at this track. They're going to all come down now. Are they going to try and take 2 after 15 laps, take 4? I don't know. We'll find out here shortly. Steve Sheehan leads the field down onto pit road. I believe we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a 10-minute break for station identification. We'll be right back. we're still doing our pits. Excuse me. We are still doing pit stops here under caution. Looks like Sheehan's going to beat everybody off pit road. That's an advantage, bitch, of having that first pit stall right there. Is as soon as your pit's done, you can nail it and not worry about getting the speeding penalty, and it helps you get out in front of everybody a little bit quicker. In the meantime, behind him, we've got Comstock in the 42. Chad Coleman comes off pit road in third, and behind him, we're going to have Jordan Hightower in that brand new purple paint scheme in the 25 car, rolling out fourth off pit road. Behind him, the number 2 car of Mike Kelly, and behind Mike, we're going to have Bobby Terrell in the 5 car.
And behind Bobby Terrell, E.J. O'Rourke, who slid back a few positions during that first run, John, as we were saying, picks up 1 spot on that under that caution. And my timing and sorting hadn't updated just yet. So, in fact, Jason Jacoby will be behind him in the 7th position. He started 11th, so he made his way up a few positions on that first run and through that first caution. Behind him is Byron Daly. In 8th and 9th is going to be E.G. O'Rourke, and rounding out the top 10 after that first caution period is going to be the 6th of Jonathan Lockhart.
So what do you think here, Mitch? More of the same? Everybody going to go for it here on this restart, or what do you think? The sun's back out, so that means our track temps will go back up. Right now, the track temp's down to 93 degrees, which is a substantial amount lower than it was, almost 20 points lower than it was, 20 degrees, excuse me. So we've got a lot of grip on the track right now.
Well, John, I'm going to take a strategy of yours and just plead the 5th on this one because, like you say, every time we say something, we're wrong. So I'll just let it play out how it's going to play out, and we'll see what happens.
Well, the lights are out, so we're going to find out here in less than a mile. Pace car's lights are off. These guys are going to double up behind the pace car. And I tell you what, folks, if you've never done simulator racing, this isn't like a video game. You don't just jump in and hammer down and go. You got to know how to drive a race car. You got to know how hard you can push those tires. You got to know, in most cases, how to set up a race car. Lucky for these guys, that's already taken care for them. This is a fixed setup league. What we mean by that is everybody runs the same setup. You just got to know how to take care of those tires and take care of the fenders on the car and make sure you're there at the end to make a challenge for the win there. In the meantime, we're going to green here shortly as they come through the dog leg. You see these guys coming down the back stretch. Final turn here, 3 and 4. Mitch, we're going to go ahead and bring him down to green here shortly, buddy.
That we are, and I'm excited to see what happens here, John. Whether these guys take it easy again or whether they're going to be maybe a little more aggressive with this cooler track temp and some new tires on there.
I think Comstock's hungry, man. I think he's got something to prove. He wants to get out there and probably lead a few laps over Sheehan. So we're going to go. Here goes the pace car ducking off pit road. We're going to go back to green here, and they're creeping up. And it looks like Sheehan's going to jump out. Just a little bit of a lead there. Not as big as he had at the initial start of this race. He's got Comstock in that 42 right there on his bumper. In the meantime, behind them, Coleman in the 20 is making a bid for that 3rd spot on the 25 of Hightower out there in that purple car on the outside.
And Hightower's going to prevail and get that position. Here comes Mike Kelly now. He's going to dive it underneath that 20 of Coleman into turn number 3. Coleman, though, got that top side, the preferred line right now. And as they went 3 wide behind them for just a second, they get that all sorted out. And
oh, no, they don't.
And they're actually going to save it. Jacoby goes around, and there's the caution.
Yeah, Jacoby knows that one into the wall, so that's going to be a little bit more damage than he was looking for right there.
And a couple cars pile in after the fact as well there, John. That was turned out to be a few cars involved in that.
Yeah, it looks like the big one here for Phoenix. I mean, that's a danger of this track, unfortunately. Here's a replay showing what happened there. It looks like, I think he just looped it there all by himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure if maybe he was reacting to what he was seeing ahead of him with everyone kind of beating and banging and hitting the wall and whatnot. But nonetheless, Jason Jacoby going around here for our 2nd caution tonight.
Yeah, like you said, he was reacting to the 5 getting up in the wall there, and you're at full speed coming down the front stretch there, come across that finish line. So any little minor adjustment to your wheel is gonna make a big impact on which direction that car decides it wants to go. And you're kind of light on the load. What I mean by that is your car is unloaded G-forces as you come off that turn. So he was a little loose, and like you said, behind him just all kind of cars piled in. It looks like we got about 4 or 5 cars involved in this one.
Yeah, we did. And yeah, Jacoby just trying to avoid what was happening ahead of him, just tapped that inside wall and got loose and spun it around there.
So it looks like we don't have any takers for pit road this time, but of course they're only green for a couple of laps there. We do have just a couple of guys poking their noses down there, but it looks like they're just getting repair work done. Looks like we've got the 5 car, the 22, and everybody else that was involved in that little accident there.
And not really too many people from the front going, but probably about the back half of the field, John, going in. You see Jason Jacoby there getting the machine worked on. Hopefully not too much damage so he can get back there and try to compete for at least a top 10 tonight.
Yeah, we apologize, folks, for the technical difficulties there. Our Canadian neighbor there, Mitch, I guess the snow's starting to eat its way into his connection lines there. We'll try and get that polished up real quick. But as we roll forward with this one, I'm sorry, Mitch. You know I love you, my Canadian brother.
Well,
as we roll forward with this.
you know, I'm feeling the love for sure, John. Feeling the love.
You might want to go out and scrape the icicles off the router there, buddy. Anyway, the pace car, the lights are on the pace car, and we're gonna line this thing up and shake, rattle, and roll some more here. Nothing new up front, folks. Steve Sheehan still leads this bad boy. He's led for most of the laps. I believe we're on lap 23 here. Just sorry, folks, we're having some technical difficulties here. Just bear with us. The lights are on the pace car. I was mistaken on that myself. We're going to do another pace lap here. We're just having some fun tonight. I apologize for all this confusion we've got going on. It's been kind of a crazy weekend, as everybody knows in the sim racing world. Got all kind of stuff going on, but we'll get it all ironed out here. So, Mitch, you live up there?
Somewhat, yep.
Okay, just making sure you're still here, man.
Is my internet alive?
Yeah, you sound a lot better.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
So while we wait for this pace lap, folks, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Just head over to youtube.com/the Sim Racing Network. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to turn on notifications so you can be notified whenever we go live. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Sim Racing Network. You can also find us on the web at thesimracingnetwork.com. The lights are definitely out this time. We are definitely doubled up for a restart. We've got Steve Sheehan, the 66, on the inside of the starting row there, starting row number 1. 42 of Dave Comstock outside of him. Jordan Hightower in 3rd. Chad Coleman 4th. Mike Kelly in 5th. E.J. O'Rourke 6th. Jonathan Lockhart 7th. Dwayne Vincent, there's a name we haven't said a whole lot, in 8th. Bobby Wetzel in 9th. And Richard Swavely in 10th. These are some guys we haven't heard from before. Those last 4 guys, Ben, started outside of top 10, but everybody else from the top 6 started inside the top 10. So, you know, we got some new names up there, and we got some old names up there.
We do. We have a big mix of guys up here that, you know, looking back in the number 5 spot, Mike Kelly, who's had a kind of a rough go of it this year, John. Restarting 5th, so we'll see what happens here. Green flag is out, and we're racing again here at Phoenix.
And it's the same old news. Sheehan off to a pretty decent start there. He didn't get too far ahead of 42 car of Comstock, but look down there on the inside. The 25 car is making a bid for 2nd place. That's Jordan Hightower in that new purple paint scheme of his. Behind him, the 2 car is trying to weasel his way up into 4th, getting past the 20 of Chad Coleman. So we got Steve Sheehan, 66, still 1st. Comstock in 42nd. Sorry, in 2nd, the 42 car. The bumper gets put to the 25 car back there in 3rd from the 2 car, who wants that spot, which causes him to check up a little bit. So on the outside of him, he's now got Chad Coleman making a challenge for the 4th spot.
That he is, and you see that big run that Coleman got through the center of the corner that time. Kelly's going to pull him a little bit on exit, though, as they go down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3, we'll see who has the advantage. You see Kelly move ahead of him on entry, but you see Coleman, he's going to try and dive back underneath the number 2 of Mike Kelly off the turn 4, and down the front straightaway they go. Kelly, though, looking like he's going to blow away with that spot.
Yeah, I think what it looks like some of these guys are trying to do is they're trying to take a high entry on that final flat turn back there and then arc it down to the left and come off straight. That works for some cars, but that really wears out that right front tire. In the meantime, back here, and it looks like the 8th spot, it looks like Dwayne Vincent in that 17's got his hands full with the 6th car of Jonathan Lockhart, who's trying to take that spot away from him. Jonathan also has a brand new paint scheme tonight. And behind Lockhart, who now has that, 7th spot, we got Dwayne Vincent in the 17 in the Haviland car, and also Richard Swavely in the 38 car, and on his outside we've got Bobby Wetzel in the 9.
And Bobby Wetzel, another guy who has had a big line of bad luck this year, John, in the Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series here at Sim500. Just can't seem to put a run together where he doesn't get involved in something, or as we go on board with Bobby, is he just always seems to run into some problems that aren't his own. So hopefully we see a good run here and a good finish for that number 9 of Bobby Wetzel.
See, if Bobby was a neighbor down here in South Louisiana, I'd go over to her house and probably cut a chicken and light a candle for him, get rid of some of that bad luck he's got. But, you know, I'm sure he'll figure it out.
They always do.
In the meantime, I'm sorry for that voodoo reference. I hope I didn't offend anybody with that one. But you guys got to understand, I'm from South Louisiana. We do some strange things down here to change our luck. Hell, I've worn the same pair of underwear for 2 months now. Anyway, back up front, we got Steve Sheehan in the 66 car. Behind him, we've got the 42 of Dave Comstock in second. And behind Dave Comstock, we've got Jordan Hightower in that purple number 25 car. You can't miss that car out there, Mitch. I tell you what, that thing's bright. What you think?
I think it's pretty nice, man. I gotta say, I love a nice paint scheme. I love when the guy puts a lot of effort, a lot of thought into a paint scheme, and that thing is definitely pops out there on the track. So it's definitely nice to see these guys with all these nice paint schemes out here.
I'm with you on that one, pal. And I'm probably just a little bit biased, Mitch, because I am a painter myself over at Old School Graphics and Designs. I love painting. I love doing it. I love, you know, hearing a client's happiness when I present them with the final product. And like you said, it's good to be seen for these broadcast races. You got, now I'm not saying these guys that don't have custom paint jobs are slacking anyway. That's not what I mean, folks. It's just it's part of our sport. You know, these snappy paint jobs and the sponsors and the big bright colors and whatnot. It's what we really look for. Anyway, back on track here, Mitch. I tell you what, looks like our front six have kind of singled out, and Sheehan's really pulled himself out to a decent lead there, about a half a second. We got Hightower still there in third, Mike Kelly fourth, and Chad Coleman still pulling the top 5 there, but it's kind of nose to tail right now, or tail to nose, or bumper to bumper, however you want to look at it.
It is John. The first only man we're seeing him on the track right now is way in the back. For the, I believe that's going to be, that's Larry Pace back there battling for around the 12th or 13th spot. And now he's trying to get by Nelson Rivera for that 12th spot as he's going to look to the inside. I don't know if he's going to be able to complete it though, John, as they get real close off of turn number 2.
Yeah, we got a bottleneck going up. We got 3 wide here going to that little dog leg. It looks like the 6 car might have washed up and got just a small piece of that wall, but that's going to just get these eyes all bunched up. So you've got the 06 right there. It looks like the 06 is fighting for that spot. It looks like you've got the 00 of Larry Pace there. Doug Simmons, Byron Daly's back there. Nelson Rivera, Bobby Terrell. These guys are all big names in this series. We've seen them usually run up front. They're all having their hands full with Phoenix today. And they're all back there kind of just all jumbled around for the same spot, it looks like.
And Byron Daly doesn't look like he really has any damage either. I'm not sure if he's just having a tough go of it today here at Phoenix, or if he got involved in an incident eearlier that made him go to the back. As we have 3 wide just ahead of him. Larry Pace dives Bunny, number 38 of Swinkley, and Jonathan Lockhart as they sort that out back to 2 wide. But Larry Pace trying to go places right now, trying to get back into the front where he was before he hit the wall running second and spun himself out.
Yeah, I believe Daly was part of that last caution we had. Some minor damage on it, so he went to picks to get it fixed. And then, like you said,
and Lockhart hit onto the
big
wall.
Hit. Oh, and Jacoby gets another piece of that one. Big hit. That looked like a little bit of contact between those 2 drivers, resulting in the spin out and subsequent wreck.
And it looked like Larry Pace and John Lockhart just get together there off of turn 4. And Lockhart was kind of going to the replay here. We're going to pull it up for you. Coming off of turn number 4, John, they just get together. Lockhart riding a little bit lower than usual, and they just come together.
Yeah, I'm not real sure if he didn't realize the 00, excuse me, was down there, Larry Pace, but he took a heck of a hit from Jason Jacoby. Both those cars are going to be taking a tow to the pits. I don't know if they're going to be able to continue racing. Nope, it's official. Jason Jacoby has pulled his car behind the wall, and he will be out of the race. That's unfortunate. He's been looking to turn his luck around the last couple of weeks, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to get it done tonight.
Nonetheless, John, we're under I believe our 3rd caution here tonight, here at Phoenix, and we're going to see if we've got a bunch of guys coming to pit road here shortly, as I would imagine all the leaders, yep, there they all come. They're all going to come put 4 fresh ones on these cars, and try and see if they can't chase that 66 of Sheehan down. But up to this point, John, looks like Sheehan's pretty much in control of this race.
Yeah, we've talked about Steve in the past. He was our points leader for the first few weeks of this series. Unfortunately, had a couple of bad races, missed one race actually, and lost that lead. But he's still in the fight for the points lead, and he's been one of the faster drivers of this series. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably got a couple of wins. Let's look that up real quick. He's got exactly. He's got 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 7 top 10s so far in this series. If it weren't for him having a couple of wrecks and sorry, excuse me, folks. If it weren't for some bad luck and missing the race, he'd probably still be in the points lead. In the meantime, the race off pit road has been settled, and oh, here's a surprise. Steve Sheehan is the first car off pit road, followed by Dave Comstock with 42. Mike Kelly in that 2 car comes out behind him. Chad Coleman, followed by E.J. O'Rourke, who's slowly working his way back up to the front. Behind him is Bobby Wetzel in the 9, and I believe the next car off pit road was Dwayne Vincent, somebody we were talking about a minute ago, in that 17 Haviland car.
Lots of storylines to follow in this race, John. E.J. O'Rourke, after, like we say early in the race there, having a little bit of tough luck with getting stuck on the outside lane for a while and kind of sliding back. He's kind of making his way back to the front here a little bit, so that's good to see for E.J. O'Rourke getting back to the front. And go back to the points battle for just a second. All it's going to take for Steve Sheehan to get back into a really close battle for first place in the standings with Coleman is going to be either a bad race by Daly or a bad race by Coleman, or both. So Steve Sheehan's just got to keep plugging away at this thing. And right now, as it stands, he's going to make up a ton of points if Byron Daly stays where he is at, and Chad Coleman also about 5 or 6 positions behind him. I'll get it out one of these days, John.
Yeah, 10-4 on that.
Not used to this whole announcing thing, and plus you got me all caught off guard with talking about how weird Canada is when you're talking about whatever it was you were talking about earlier. So.
Well, okay then. There's only, I believe, 2 races left after this, if I'm not mistaken, or 1 race, correct?
This is the second to last race, John. Next week will be the final race here in the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group K&N series. So something pretty drastic going to have to happen to both or one of the points, or the top 2 in the points for Sheehan to get back up there and win the championship this year. But nonetheless, doing everything he can here tonight, John, with the lead, leading a lot of laps so far tonight.
Yeah, this is his way of saying, hey guys, remember me? And he's doing a good job of it. So here we go. Lights are off on the pace car, Mitch. We're going to bring this thing around one more time, get the green flag going, get this race back underway. I'm hoping to see a long green flag run this time. I want to see how these guys handle green flag pit stops. So here we go. Pace car is off. Coming down to the start box, and boom, out he goes there. Steve Sheehan at 66 out to a good jump there. Not too far ahead of the 42, though. Down on the inside of the 42, we've got Mike Kelly in that 2 car making a challenge for the 2nd spot. I don't think he's going to move. He gets a little loose right there. He's going to lose some momentum coming off turn 2. Give that spot back up to the 42 of Dave Comstock behind him. Chad Coleman's breathing down his neck. Going to take that 3rd spot away if he can manage.
And still just under 100 laps to go, John. So still a little ways to go. Still got lots of time for guys like Byron Daly and all them to get back to the front, Larry Pace and all them. But right now, John, we're looking at the front where Steve Sheehan, once again, pulling away from Dave Comstock. Comstock's just going to settle in here, and I guarantee you he's hoping for a long run because, like I said earlier in the show, Comstock can save his tires and definitely come around at the end of a run. So he's going to want to see this thing go green for a while.
Absolutely. That's like his trademark. In the meantime, E.J. O'Rourke gets way out of shape coming off turn 4, bottles everybody up down there. Pace was on momentum there, had to check up to keep from hitting him. Byron Daly's now on his outside. Not real sure if he got help there or what, but he got really out of shape. Dropped all the way down, didn't hit anything, thank goodness. So that's going to bottleneck those guys back there fighting around 8th, 9th, and 10th place. I tell you what, I was just about to say, before that happened, Larry Pace is driving angry. I think he's upset with himself for looping it earlier when he had such a good run going. And I'm not trying to say this in any bad way, but the term of bull in a china shop comes to mind. Him trying to get back up front and make his presence known.
That he is, and it ruffled a few feathers on the way, but Larry Pace is showing that he just wants to get to the front. He's here to win these things, and that's what he's showing. He's good, trying to get around the 17 right now. When Vince does just that, move him up to the lead. That's going to be the 8th position here as we cross the line, and scoring and timing updates. Yeah, he's going to be 8th position, John. So he's making his way back to the front rather quickly here.
Absolutely. It's like I said, he's out to prove to these guys that his qualifying run wasn't a fluke. He's fast at this track, and he deserves to be up front racing for the win. It was just an unfortunate mental mistake that he made coming off of 4 earlier. Looped himself out. Luckily, he didn't get any damage from that. So now he's breathing down the back of that 41, trying to take that 7th spot away. Meantime, back up front, Steve Sheehan, it's just more of the same with him. He's out to 7/10 of a second lead this time over Comstock. But I think you were right earlier, Mitch, when you said that 42, he just likes to hang out and save his equipment for these long runs and see if he can, just wear these guys out, watching them just go, and he's just going to take care of his stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's what Comstock's doing. I don't know if Comstock was trying to get back to Sheehan at the end of that last run, or if he's still riding, but we didn't really see David making a lot of ground up on that 66 star. So we'll have to see if this thing goes green to the end. Well, really be the telltale of Comstock is saving his stuff right now. He's really trying to get up there with that 66 of Steve Sheehan, as Sheehan pulled it out about another half a tenth that time by the last time.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. We got a great fight going on back here for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It looked like, I don't know if Wetzel just lost some momentum there or what, but Daly got tired of waiting on him, get out of the way, went around the outside of 3 and 4 and passing, and brought E.J. O'Rourke with him on the outside. And it looked like Larry Page is going to take that spot on the outside as well. So I don't know if Wetzel's got some problems going on there or what, but he just lost 3 spots inside of a lap.
That he did, and they get it all sorted out now, John. They're all tail to nose once again, but and up front, Sheehan now pulled, last time by he pulled another 10.5 on Comstock, but now Comstock a 10th faster than Sheehan that time. So these guys trading times back and forth a little bit here, John. I think we'll see Comstock kind of right around the 8/10 to a 2.5 bracket for now, and maybe at the end of this run we'll see him try and get up there and challenge Sheehan, for the lead.
And now in direct contrast of David Comstock's style of drive, we were just talking about the 00 of Larry Pace. His speeds have started to plateau off. He pushed, got him 5 or 6 spots up that restart, but now his car is giving up. I mean, he's wore those tires down. He's not making up any more ground there than he was. So that's kind of a direct contrast to what we see in the guys like Steve Sheehan. And as I say that, look at that. He pokes his nose underneath the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. E.J. did what I was telling you earlier. He took a higher entry into 3 and 4, diamonded it down, coming off kind of low and straight off that corner, made up a lot of ground on the 08 of Byron Daly, and then goes down to 1 and 2 there and washes up a little bit, loses some of that momentum, giving Pace the chance to get on his inside and challenge for that 6th spot.
And he just took it away, John, just like that. Larry Pace up to 6th. O'Rourke back to 7th. Excuse me, and now Pace is going to set his sights on that 08 of Byron Daly, or maybe just follow him to the front. So, because I have a feeling that Byron Daly is going to be moving his way up through this field as well, John.
I don't think we'll see Byron taking any unnecessary risks, though. His luck in the last 5 weeks has not been good. If I'm not mistaken, Byron's been involved in, I think, pretty much an average of 1 incident per race. Well, it's always where he's got some damage of some sort. Not his fault either, just somebody else's mess. But in the meantime, back up front, Mitch, we've got about the same lead between Comstock and Sheen as we had, just a little under a second at .796. But they have pulled out from Mike Kelly and Chad Coleman there in 3rd and 4th, and Byron Daly in 5th. That
they have, and that really shows you that Comstock and Sheehan are kind of in a class of their own, John, here, as they're kind of just pulling away from the rest of the field, like you say. Now 2.5 seconds almost that time at the line, back to 3rd from David Comstock in that 2nd position. So showing this rest of the field that they're the class of the field, and them other guys back there 3rd on back are going to have to do something different to try and catch up with them.
Absolutely. We're about almost 15 laps into this run, and we should start seeing the tire wear come into play here. These cars could probably start getting a little loose. That's been the track thing. I'm sorry, the way things have gone with most other series is once these tires get about 15-20 laps on them, the car gets really loose. I don't know though, because I have not driven this car on this track in quite some time, so it could be completely different, a bit tight, but we'll start to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, our track temperature is 100 degrees. It's partly cloudy. As you guys have seen, the clouds have passed over the track a few times. Now, we started this race, Mitch, with 116 degree track temperatures. So we got about a 16 degree difference here, which means the track's just a little cooler, which means just a little bit more grip for them.
It does, and if you remember, John, there was a huge difference earlier. It was all the way down to around 92, I believe, at one point. So a big dip in temperature there, but now back up to around 100 once again here. So these guys have to go through a little bit different weather temperatures a few times during this race, so having to adjust their lines a little bit every time that happens as well.
Well, we were looking for a green flag run, Mitch, and it looks like we've got one. These guys have gone almost 18 laps, it looks like, on tires. So, you know, hey, that's what we wanted to see. See who can treat these cars good, treat these tires good, and be there at the end. Now, I'm wondering, have we done any kind of a fuel calculation? Maybe see what kind of a fuel window we're looking at.
I am unsure of what these guys can do as far as fuel. I'd imagine usually here at Phoenix you can do, well, in the Cup car I know it's around 80 or 90 laps. I'm not sure about these cars. It's probably similar. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, John, but I think these guys are going to have to pit again.
10-4 on that. Well, we started this race with 25 cars, and right now, officially, we have, looks like 5 cars out, so we still have 20 on track. And back up front, it looks like Sheehan's starting to pull just a little bit away from Dave Comstock there. As I say that, no, Comstock made up a 10th right there on that lap. But it's still the same story with Mike Kelly, Chad Coleman, Byron Daly, and the rest of the field. About a 3-second spread between the top 2 and the rest of the guys. So without a caution or maybe some mistakes on pit road, it looks like it's going to be a 2-car show for the fight for this lead.
It is, and the first battle on track right now, John, is for that is the 4th position between Chad Coleman and Byron Daly. Byron Daly trying to get around that 20 car, but Chad Coleman on the outside gonna beat him off of turn 4 for that 4th position, as Daly will reset and try and get around that 20 once again. I think he's gonna have to do it on the outside though, John.
Well, what he's going to have to do is keep himself off that wall. It's the second lap by that I've seen him get really close to that wall coming off of 2. Going down to this flat 3 and 4 turns right here. You know, keep in mind, folks, Daly's a car that was involved in an incident earlier, bounced off the wall a little bit, went and got his damage fixed. So here he is up here running in 5th, challenging for 4th. And behind him is Larry Pace, a guy who started this race on the outside pole, Mitch, and looped his car coming off of that treacherous turn 4 and has made his way back up into the top 10.
That he has, John. Good recovery for Pace, but up front last time at the line, Comstock another 10th quicker than Steve Sheehan. So closing in on that lead this time at the line here, John. He will lose a 10th on Sheehan. So back to about around 7/10 of a second back from the leader there, as Comstock still probably saving his stuff a little bit here. Probably anticipating a long run to the finish here. So hopefully, for his sake, that will be the case, and I wouldn't mind seeing it go green right to the end here as well. I like seeing these long runs and different guys come and go with the changing track and the fuel burn off out of these cars.
That's one good point. I'll tell you another good point to keep in mind. We've gone green for such a long time now. Our leaders are starting to catch the back markers. If you look out the front windshield of our leader here, Steve Sheehan, he's coming up real fast on 22 car of Nelson Rivera, puts him a lap down. In front of Nelson is Brian Wortman. He's going to be the next car to go a lap down. So lap cars are going to start playing into this chase for the lead between Comstock and Steve Sheehan.
That it is for sure, and that time Comstock losing another 10th and a half, John. Actually, just about 2 tenths on the track. He lost to Steve Sheehan that time, so it didn't affect Sheehan that bad that time around. But we'll see here, as Comstock does get cleanly around that 22 of Nelson Rivera, so it shouldn't affect him too badly.
Tell you what, this has become just a kind of a 2-car show. They are stretched out now to almost 4 seconds ahead of 3rd place Mike Kelly, but he's got his hands full, it looks like, just trying to hold on to the car. I saw him a minute ago getting a little loose coming off of 4. Behind him is a 20 car of Chad Coleman in 4th place, and Larry Pace is now in 5th place. He's gotten around Byron Daly, making his way back up to the front. Behind him, like I said, Byron Daly in that 08 car, and E.J. O'Rourke, another car that we haven't talked a whole lot about, but we have talked about him in the past. He's usually had some pretty good runs. He's up to 7th. 8th is Jordan Hightower. I'm sorry, 8th was Bobby Terrell. He just lost that spot to Jordan Hightower in that beautiful purple Twitch car. So put Hightower up to 8th. Bobby Terrell back to 9th in our top 10 car. The 9-9 of Tommy Ryan. Somebody else we haven't talked to or talked about a whole lot tonight, Mitch.
Not a whole lot, but Ryan has put some good runs together in the past. John, just not his night tonight here at Phoenix. And back to the league cars here. Sheehan will pull it out a little bit further now on Comstock. So Comstock maybe, when we saw him catching the leader there a few laps ago, John, could have maybe heated up his tires a little bit, trying to catch up with him. Maybe that's not the case. I could be wrong. We'll see in the coming laps here, of course, if Comstock does start reeling that leader back in.
And of course, you know, there's all kinds of tools these drivers have available to them to tell them how far they can go gas. So there's something else we're probably not looking at, is maybe Comstock just trying to stretch this out to maybe one more pit stop, because next time by, our leader is going to take the cross flags, which is halfway to go. And, you know, that's a distinct possibility because we don't really know how far they can go on fuel. And I'm sure these drivers do. For those of you that wonder what I'm talking about, there's this little device that you can get called a digital pit box from our friends over at iRacing iFlag. I've got one, Mitch, and this thing's amazing. It tells you how much fuel you got, how much you need to get to the end, how long it's been since you pitted. When you do pit, it tells you what condition your tires are in without you having to touch any buttons on a keyboard.
I actually just received mine in the mail a couple days ago. Actually, yesterday. I got
mine it finally cleared customs, huh?
It did clear customs, and I got it all set up. Wasn't too hard. Took about probably 15 minutes trying to get everything set up, and I'll tell you, man, this thing is awesome. The amount of information it gives you is incredible. I really highly recommend it, and everyone should go check out his products, iRacingIFlag.com, and he has a iRacing iFlag as well. Lights up if the caution comes out. It's a very bright LED flag device, I guess.
Flashlight.
So, flashlight, yeah. If you don't see the caution come out on screen on iRacing, you definitely see those bright LEDs light up yellow under caution. So definitely some cool products over at iRacingIFlag.com.
And if you folks are watching this broadcast wondering how can you get into this, I'll tell you right now, go to iRacing.com, subscribe. You got all kinds of packages, 1 month, 3 month, 1 year. You get some basic cars and tracks with that, but you can go ahead and also purchase licensing to race this car as well. Once you get that done, caution's out on the track. I don't see anything on track just yet.
Nor do I, John.
Oh, here we go. EJ O'Rourke.
Yeah, EJ O'Rourke in the 41 there. We got the replay up and see exactly what happened to that 41 car.
He just got loose all by himself there.
Yeah, just going through turns 1 and 2 there. Gets loose coming up off the corner, and a little bit of maybe netcode from 25 of Hightower finishes the job, and EJ O'Rourke will go ahead and hit the inside wall. So unfortunate for EJ O'Rourke. Had a good run going there in that number 41 after early trouble sliding back through the field there. So unfortunate for EJ.
Well, he's got a little bit of damage, but it's not bad. Like I said earlier, you don't need a perfect car to race here at Phoenix International Raceway. Now, in the meantime, we got pit stops coming up, and I know for a fact these guys are all going to hit pit road, take 4 fresh tires, fill up the tanks, and from here I'm fairly certain we can make it on probably not even one more stop. Probably go back to green with 60 laps to go, so they might be able to make it on what they have now.
I think they should be able to make it, John. It's just a matter of if we're going to get another caution or not to throw a wrench in things strategy-wise, but I'm noticing something right now, John. Just as EJ O'Rourke spins out there on track, I'm looking at the track temperature. It is up to 113 once again. So that definitely could have played a big role in EJ O'Rourke spinning out there with how hot and slick that track would get.
Absolutely. Combine that with your tire wear of having been on track for, let's see here, they were on track for almost 30 laps. So yeah, I'm fairly certain you're right there, Mitch. Slick track plus old tires equals driving on snot, which is never fun.
I mean, it's fun, but hard to really be productive with that flick of a track.
Very true.
You know.
And yes, people, I have driven on snot. No, I have not. I'm lying. But anyway.
Of course you like
I have driven on ice. I've done an ice race once. That was no fun.
I do that every winter here in Canada.
Oh, you Canadians. Your life is so much fun.
And John, we're getting word from a little bird in my ear saying these cars only run 70% fuel, so
That's
maybe
right.
they
That's right.
cannot run to the finish on 1 tank of fuel. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well and see where these guys are at fuel-wise. If they can't make it to the end, if they cannot make it to the end on 1 tank fuel, it's going to make it fun. We're going to see green flag pit stops if this thing decides to stay green. So that'll get exciting if we do.
Absolutely. But as I was saying, for that caution came out, I was getting to a point. For those of our folks out there that have friends that might be interested in something like this is a great hobby to have. It's not as expensive as the real deal. Street stocks, super late models, dirt track. We have it here in iRacing. It's all very realistic, all so much fun. One of the first things you need to do is head over to Ford Entertainment Group, talk to Jeff Scott. That man will hook you up with a computer that can handle all the bells and whistles of iRacing and VR world and triple monitors, whatever your fancy might want there. And once you get all that done, you get signed up on iRacing.com, head over to Sim500.com and choose a series to race in. You can find it all there. Xfinity trucks, these guys here, they do quite a bit of selection over there, Cup Series. So that's how you do it, folks. That's how you get into iRacing. In the meantime, Mitch, we're double back up, which tells me the lights are off on the pace car, and we're getting ready to go back to green.
Now we are, John, and I think probably going to see a lot of the same here. Everything's going to single file out fairly quickly. But look for that Comstock car, maybe to not quite get as far back as he did on that last run. And maybe try and stick with that 66 a little closer. Try and make a play for that lead a little sooner.
I don't know, Mitch. I'm going to have to politely disagree with you. Comstock's a smart player, smart driver. I think we'll see more of what we just saw that last run. He's going to try and stay right there in striking distance, but he's not going to push his car too hard. In the meantime, pace car is off, and I am going to be wrong yet again. He's off to a great start. He's just right there on that rear quarter of the 66 car, but into his inside is Mike Kelly, that 2 car, making a bid for second. Kelly gets a little loose down there and has to back out. In the meantime, still up there in the second spot. The Comstock in that 42 is making a challenge for the lead on the outside of the 66 machine. Washes up a little too high there, but he's going to be able to arc that bad boy back down. And look at that run he gets coming off of 4, coming down the front stretch. He's going to try and poke his nose down the inside, Mitch. Down into 1, but not going to make it stick, so he's going to settle back there in second place. In the meantime, behind him, the 2 car of Mike Kelly. I think he's raring at the bit there to try and get up there in second place.
That he is, John, and up front now. And we have
big crash
on the track here. Would appear definitely involved the number 16 of Dwight Beverly there, John. We'll pull a replay up and see exactly what happened as some contact there. Looks like Richard Swavely got into that number 16 car and sent him around. So that'll be our, I believe, caution at Phoenix.
And I think the 80 car, got a better run off that turn than he expected, and just didn't have time to check up or miss the 16 car there. It's unfortunate we're back under caution again, but that is part of sim racing, folks. So back up front, let's see if anybody wants to duck down pit road and top her off.
I don't think anyone's going to come down here, John. Only about a lap and a half on those tires right there. As we see, Sheehan's going to stay out. Everyone probably in the top half of the field is going to stay out. So.
Oh, Larry Pace.
Wow, it comes down. And he pulls everyone behind him with him. So we'll see if the extra lap of fresh tires is going to help these guys, John. I don't know that it is, but we'll have to wait and see here for this thing to go green again.
I don't think it's so much tires these guys are thinking about, Mitch. I think it's probably fuel. I think they're trying to pack as much fuel into this thing as they can, just in case it does go green all the way.
That definitely could be, John. I didn't think about that. Definitely could be a key role in those guys coming back down here, but definitely tires gonna help them out a little bit as well.
Well, it looks like Byron Daly won the race off the roof, if you want to call it that. Followed closely by the 00 of Larry Pace there. Folks, this is going to kind of jumble things up for us, it looks like. I mean, you got some guys who are going to have maybe a lap and a half fresher tires. Definitely got more fuel. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. So we're going to get one more pace lap here, folks. And while we do that, you just give us we're going to get all this sorted out and see where a scoring stacks everybody up. It looks like Sheehan comes off. Well, he maintains his spot. I think the top 6 all stayed out there. So we got Steve Sheehan in first, Dave Comstock second, Mike Kelly third, Chad Coleman fourth, Jordan Hightower fifth, and Bobby Terrell sixth place. Behind him is 17 car of Dwayne Vincent, 08 of Byron Daly. Larry Pace gave up sixth place, come in top off and get some tires, comes out ninth, and Richard Swavely brings up our top 10. So Mitch, what we've got going on here, my friend, is I don't know, if you want to call it mind games or strategy or whatever, but we got 6 cars that stayed out, and everybody else came in, topped off, and took on 4 tires. So we're going to turn the lights off here on the pace car shortly, take one more lap around, and get back on.
I'm excited to see, John, whether those tires make a big difference as far as speed goes. As I was saying, there's only about a lap and a half on these guys' tires, top 6's tires here, so we'll see if the guys behind the top 6 come screaming up through the field, or if they just kind of level off after a few laps.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Mitch, I don't think the tire is going to make that much of a difference, but I do think the fuel will. As we all know, every lap under caution is about maybe a lap and a half, 2 laps under, no, the other way around. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say, John.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long day. But, so I think, really it's the fuel, and it looks like a whole bunch of people ducked back down the pit road to top off again. So, anyway, we are doubled up. Lights are off in the pace car. Steve Sheehan leading them down through that final turn, 3 and 4. Pace car will shortly duck off, and we'll be back to green, folks.
Pace car does duck off, John, and green flag is back in the air. Good restart for Sheehan there as Comstock falling back a little bit. Mike Kelly gets a nose underneath and going on turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if Comstock slid his tires there or what, but he's going to power back on the outside, keep that second spot. I don't know what's going on with Mike Kelly in that 2 car, but that inside has not been kind to him. On his outside now is our points leader, Chad Coleman, trying to take that 3rd spot away from him. And don't think he's going to be able to pull it off there unless he gets another power run on the outside, which it looks like he's going to pull right up to him. Watch out for that outside.
Hightower. Hightower turns him.
Yeah, turned him coming off of turn 4. That's a lot of significant damage on that 2 car. That was a heavy, heavy hit, folks. We'll queue up the replay here for you shortly.
That was a big crash there coming off of turn number 4. As the replay is up now, coming off of turn number 4, Hightower doesn't expect the 2 of Kelly to slow up like he did, but he had to, or else he would have taken the 20 of Chad Coleman out, and unfortunately, Kelly ends up just...
You might want to look at what happened to Hightower after that contact. He barrel rolled down the front stretch.
Oh my.
He came, he got loose and got up into the 08 of Byron Daly in the 5 car, barrel rolled, Daly spinning down the front stretch. So that's a multiple car incident. And I think Hightower just kept on going, it looks like. So I love sim racing, Mitch.
John, that was a bad crash. Had that been the real world, that would not have been a good situation for Jordan Hightower, but nonetheless, he is back on all 4s. And
actually, we can't say that, Mitch. I'd like to remind you of Dale Earnhardt Sr. at Daytona, and what was that, 97, I think it was, when he rolled it and got out of the car, and the ambulance guys came over and he said, hey, crank it up, and they cranked it up, and he got back in and drove it around to the pits, finished the race.
Well, John, I don't remember watching it live because I was barely alive then, but
okay, I
do remember seeing it on some videos on YouTube and such, so I do remember that. So this could be one of those instances.
I hate you. I'm kidding. Hey, I keep forgetting, folks. I'm a little older than Mitchell. I think it's
just
been said that I've probably got underwear that's older than Mitchell.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this one alone. Go ahead,
Hey, I'm the old goat of this bunch. I can make jokes like that. But anyway, folks, back to the race. That's an unfortunate incident. That took out a couple of our faster drivers there. Whether or not they're able to continue on still remains to be seen. It looks like Hightower is going to duck into the pits there and try and get some repairs done to that car. You don't have to be aerodynamically perfect, but it would help if your car is still running to run this race.
It definitely would, John. Not only that, but they could have some issues in the suspension, and that definitely won't help their handling in the corners. So as long as Hightower, as I see, Hightower was down in pit road getting his car fixed. We'll
Yeah, I'm
see.
looking at him now. He's oof.
I'm interested to see if he's still going to be competitive, though, John. It's going to be quite interesting as if he is able to keep running up there in the top 10. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it after barrel rolling down the front straightaway.
It'll be fun to watch. Right now, his car it needs a big Band-Aid. I'm just telling you now. That
I
thing
think it
is.
needs more than a Band-Aid, John. I think it needs to
It's
just be taken to the scrapyard, actually.
yeah, it's banged up pretty good. So anyway, back to the front of this thing. It's just more of the same with Sheehan. I'm really impressed. You know, he was absent for a while. I wouldn't say absent. He missed one or two races there. Had that run of bad luck where he was caught up in some accidents, but it's like it's just right back to business as usual for him, setting fast laps, leading laps, and leading races. So I'll be interested to see if Comstock can keep up with him this time. Maybe scrub those tires, get them warmed up a little bit better, so he doesn't have that same issue he had in the last restart. So Mitch, here we are, doubled up, lights are off on the pace car. Same story up front. It's the 66 car of Steve Sheehan on the lead there on the inside. 42 of Dave Comstock to his outside. Second row, third place, 20 of Chad Coleman to his outside. Mr. Larry Pace, a guy that started this race on the outside pole, Mitchell, got himself in some trouble early on and has bullwayed. That's a great word right there, let me tell you.
Bullwayed.
He's waylaid his way up through the field to get back into that top 5.
Your quotes never cease to amaze me, John. I love it.
Come on down here in South Louisiana, buddy. I'll teach you some more.
I love listening to you and Ben in the booth when I'm not producing these things, or when I am producing these things, rather. It's just so much fun listening to you guys go back and forth with your interesting quotes you guys have.
So, here's one for you. The pace car's off. Green flag is out. Steve Sheehan jumps back out to the lead. The 42 got a decent restart that time. Maintains that second spot, but behind him, the 20th Poland and the 0-0 Larry Pace, are fighting for that third spot. Door-to-door banging on each other there, it looks like a little bit. I don't think Pace is going to give up an inch, and I don't think Coleman's going to give one up either. In the meantime, behind them in 5th place, is somebody we haven't talked about a whole lot. It's Bobby Wetzel, who looks like his luck is finally taking a turn for the better as he finds himself up there fighting for 5th spot. But that fight for 4th between Pace and Coleman is still hot and heavy up there. Once we turns 1 and 2, Pace on the inside, 20 on the outside. What do you think here, Mitch? Are we going to see these two sorted out anytime soon?
I don't know, John. Larry Pace, as you see, falling back behind Coleman a little bit now. He did start second in this race and was up there for a while. And battle for the lead up front here. Comstock going to be underneath the 66 and Sheehan going down to turn number 1. And these guys are dead even here in the corner. Coming off of turn number 2 here. Look for Sheehan to get the big run off the corner as... Oh, I may be wrong. And oh, there he is. Pulling down. They're pulling away a little bit just from David Comstock as into 3. They're still dead even. Comstock on the bottom. Sheehan up top. We'll see if these guys can sort this thing out. Is that they do.
Sheehan with that power move on the outside.
Yeah.
God, I tell you what, he kind of cut the air off of the 42 there, which allowed those guys in 3rd and 4th to catch up to him. So we now have a 4-way battle, basically, for that lead spot. They're going to come off of 2, spread out a little bit. Sheehan remains in the lead with a 42 of Comstock behind him. Larry Pace, in the meantime, back there stalking that 20 car for 3rd. I tell you what, Mitch, this is heating up really fast. We still have a little over 48 laps to go here, but I think Steve Sheehan has decided, okay, I'm done playing with you guys. I'm out of here.
I think so. Sheehan pulling back out in front of Comstock there, that time by about 3/10. John, I don't know if these guys are going to get back together and battle like that again. Track temp is down to 109 again here as we see some cloud cover. Just as I say that, cloud cover coming back over the track. So track probably going to cool down a little bit more. We'll look for Comstock to try and save his stuff this run and maybe try and get up there with Sheehan at the end's run.
I'm just wondering what that was all about. That's the closest we've seen anybody get to that lead. I'm wondering if that was Comstock saying, hey, buddy, I'm still here, or if that was Sheehan just kind of falling asleep for a second. In the meantime, up front, Comstock is right on that back bumper of the 66 Steve Sheehan, making a bid for that lead again, it looks like there, Mitch.
He is, and you saw the closing rate in 1 and 2 there that time. Comstock just pulled right up on his bumper like it was nothing, but not able to do anything with it here as he's going to slide back just a little bit again as through 1 and 2, they stay about even that time.
In the meantime, behind them, Pace is heating up the battle for third place with Chad Coleman. Pace down on the inside, going through turns 3 and 4. And Coleman washes up a little bit, but gets a good, decent run off. But go ahead and check up and give that spot to the 00. I think at this point, Coleman's probably thinking about his points lead and trying to just make sure that he finishes this race with all the fenders intact and his points lead intact as well.
I think I would have to agree with that. Coleman doesn't really have to push it too hard. I believe he's about 85 in front of Sheehan, and I'm not sure how many.
59 in front of Daly. He's 59 in front of Daly right now.
Yeah, so there you go. So he's got a good cushion to work with. He doesn't need to push it here in order to win this championship. He's just going to kind of ride around and make sure he preserves this good run that he has going here.
Absolutely. So he's going to take the smart move there and let Pace have that spot, especially considering that Pace has been on a mission since spinning himself out earlier in this event. He dropped all the way back outside the top 20 at one point, so he's fought his way back up. So I'm sure Coleman saw him coming and said, you know what, go ahead, buddy. I just want to finish this with my championship lead intact. In the meantime, back up front, Steve Sheehan's lead has shrunk down to 0.2 of a second. Comstock is just inching his way back up there, Mitch, trying to take that lead back away from 6th.
And you were telling me to cue the Jaws theme a few weeks ago, John. I think this would be a good time for it as well.
I wish we had it.
As Comstock kind of stalking his prey a little bit here right now. Not right at the back bumper of Sheehan, but just kind of watching his line, seeing what he's doing, see if he can get a run either off the corner or into the corner, trying to get a fender underneath Sheehan, or up above him for that matter. So Comstock just kind of trying to bide his time here. Maybe save a little bit of tire as well, but also wanting to go for that lead now.
We're going to ride on board with the 42 of Comstock for a couple of laps here and watch his line around this track. You know, Mitch, one of the best things I've ever seen in real-life racing at Phoenix Raceway several years ago, I believe it was an ARCA race. I don't remember who the two drivers were exactly. I want to say one of them was in a black 8 car, but the 8 car was in 2nd place. The guy leading it was not quite as fast toward the end of the run, so the 8 would send it down in a turn and bump, just dead up bump that leader, let him know he was there. He did it like 4 or 5 laps, finally got in the lead, got so nervous he washed up in the turn and had to jump on the binders and let the 8 car by. So that's some fun stuff that can happen here at Phoenix. And I'm kind of wondering if that's not Comstock's game right now. He's just kind of playing with the 66, saying, hey, I'm still back here and I haven't gone anywhere.
I definitely could be, John, and like I was saying earlier, he still could be trying to save a little bit of tire and try and be able to get around that 66 at the end of this fuel run, as we have 40 laps to go. Last time at the line here, it's going to be 39 at the line this time. So Comstock slipping a little bit of time where he can try and get around that 66, but he's going to have to start thinking about where he's going to make his move and how he's going to make it.
And again, that fuel equation is going to jump up also. How far can they go since their last pit stop, I believe, for these guys was, let's check our numbers here. That was probably lap 80, I believe. So we're going to see how far they can stretch their fuel. But I think you're right there, Ben. I think at this point in the race, if Comstock wants to win, he's going to have to start putting a lot of pressure on that 66 car. And as we say, look at that. The 66 washes up just a little bit, and the 42 is going to get right up on that bumper, going down to the dogleg. Going to peek down to the inside, making a bid for the lead as they come out of the dogleg down into turn 3.
Battle for the lead, side by side in turns 3 and 4. Comstock and Sheehan off of turn number 4 here. We'll see if Comstock can get that run on the bottom. I don't know. Sheehan's looking pretty quick. There it is. Sheehan regains the lead of the first position there, as Comstock going to fall back just a little bit, try and regroup and get another game plan. I think he's going to have to do it on the outside, John. I just don't know if he can get that run off the corner that you need to on that inside line.
Or give him the chrome bumper, one or the other. I mean, the chrome horn there. But I tell you what, that's just more of that 42 car saying, look, I'm here, and I'm not letting you get anywhere. So now Sheehan's going to be doing 2 things here. He's going to be watching out the front of this car. He's also going to be watching the mirrors here where that 42 is coming at him from.
Mirror driving, they call it, John. Looking in the mirror more than you are out front, trying to see what the guy is doing behind you to try and thwart his next move to try and get by you for that lead. So see
That's not a
Sheehan here.
bad thing on the big tracks, Mitch. You can do that a lot on a big track like Talladega or Daytona. You don't want to be looking at that mirror too much at Phoenix, where you come out of one turn and 2 seconds later you're going down into another one. So, and look at that. Again, Sheehan washes up and is going to get that 42. A heck of a run coming down to that dog leg, but I don't know where Sheehan is going to, throw this block at, or if Comstock's is going to kind of take it easy and not try to make the pass this time. He's right there in the tire tracks. The 66 of Sheehan as they come through 3 and 4 onto the front stretch once more.
I think Comstock knows he's going to have to do it on the outside because he saw he had the opportunity to dive to the inside there of Sheehan, but he just kind of held off and stayed on the bumper, and I think he's kind of just trying to bide his time here and wait for the right time to strike and get to the outside of that 66 so he can get that good run off the corner off of 2 or 4.
I tell you what, the 42 is really strong through 1 and 2. The last couple of runs here, he's got that turn figured out pretty good. If he can get the same kind of a run through 3 and 4, I think Sheehan's gonna have hands full with it.
I think so. You see, like you were saying, through 1 and 2, he already has his hands full with Comstock, and if Comstock gets 3 and 4 figured out, as you see a little wiggle from Comstock there, that's going to cost him, maybe a tenth or two, but not to worry. I think Comstock's going to get right back up there on the bumper of Sheehan, and he's not letting him go anytime soon.
Track temps up to 112, so that track's going to be getting slicker and slicker as we go. Not to mention these tires are starting to get old for these guys, so it's going to start going to be a handful for them to drive. In the meantime, these guys have started to check out from that 3rd place of Larry Pace. So you got Larry back there about 1.3 seconds behind them. And then another 1.5 seconds behind Pace is the 20 car of Chad Coleman in 4th, and Tommy Ryan, 99, in 5th place. But up front, we still got one heck of a fight on our hands between the 66 of Steve Sheehan and the 42 of David Comstock.
Got to stay at about even right now, John. Not really a crazy battle for the lead just yet, but going down through 1 and 2, we'll see if Comstock can try and dive it down through the middle of that turn and try and get a run on Steve Sheehan off the corner, as he's not going to be able to do it that time. So they stay about even off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Comstock just probably calmly thinking to himself, it's about 30 laps to go this time of the line, John, and he's going to have to make his move sooner rather than later here, especially since if we get another caution, everyone's going to be back on even tires. Comstock, if he's been saving this run, he's not going to have that advantage of having a little bit fresher tires than Sheehan. So if I was Comstock here, I would be trying to make my move here sooner rather than later.
Well, another thing to keep in mind, though, Mitch, is Comstock's kind of showing his hand right now. If you think back to all the runs prior to this one, after the restart, about 10 to 15 laps after that restart, Sheehan usually had himself a pretty good second lead over the 42 car of Comstock, but they stayed right there within a second of each other. So now Comstock's right up there on his bumper, less than 0.2 of a second behind the leader. Always pulls up to him, gives him a challenge for that lead. So I'm thinking that we're seeing right now that this whole race, Comstock's just been playing possum, as they say down here in South Louisiana. Just kind of not showing his car, not showing what his car can do. And I think we're seeing it now.
You always see Comstock do that, John, when it comes down to the end of these races. Doesn't matter where we're at, what kind of track, intermediate, 2-mile racetrack, short track, road course, Comstock is always going to be there at the end of these things. And as you see, he is closing up on that 66 of Sheehan. He's been right on the back bumper of that 66 car the last couple laps. So he'll be trying to look for a spot to make his move, try and get to the outside or the inside even of Sheehan. Try and rattle his cage a little bit and try and get around that 66 for the lead.
Now, we're going to take a little ride back here from the 66 car, looking back on the 42 of David Comstock. One thing I want to point out, folks, I've said it a couple of times about the chrome bumper, blah, 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 but in all honesty, this group of people, they're about the cleanest racers I've seen. They don't do a whole lot of intentional bumping and rattling, so I would actually be very surprised if the 42 car resorted to moving this stick out of the way. But that is part of racing, so I just want to clarify that it is an option, but we have rarely ever seen it in the Sim500 series.
That is true, John, and I have raced with David Comstock quite a bit over the years, and David, always a class act, great competitor, great driver, and a really nice guy altogether. So I don't think Comstock be the guy to lay that chrome horn down on the 66 of Steve Sheehan, but you never know at the end of these things how bad these guys want this race. It just depends on Comstock wants it that bad.
Well, it's, one other thing to keep in mind is on the season so far, after 11 races, Comstock only has the 1 win. So he might be a little hungry for one, but like you said, he's a gentleman at heart. We've talked to Dave a few times in team speak from other races. Definitely a gentleman racer, as clean as they get. But then again, hey, how bad do you want to win this race? It's Phoenix, so you can get away with a little bit of rough business, but it remains to be seen. So here we are, Mitch, under 30 laps to go, almost down to 25 here. When's that fuel equation going to kick in? When are these tires going to start biting these guys a little bit? It's anyone's game right now. These guys have kind of pulled out to a 2.2 second lead over Larry Pace back there in third. The rest of the field is just really far behind. So once again, we look at possibly seeing lap traffic coming into play also.
That we could, John. And as far as the fuel game goes, I haven't really seen anyone pitting at all back in the field or anywhere for that matter. And I think if these guys were going to be short on this run, we would have saw that. So I think these guys are probably good to the end on fuel. So as long as this thing stays green to the end, we're going to see maybe Comstock, his long run speed come into play here and try and get around that 66 of Sheehan, who I'm pretty sure has led almost every lap this race tonight here.
I think it's close to 100% of the laps so far. Back up front, like I was saying, lap traffic is about to come into play. If you look on your monitor, folks, you'll see that if we can get out of the roof cam shot there on Steve Sheehan, lap traffic is one straightaway ahead of him right now. Right now, Nelson Rivera in that 22 is coming out of turn 4 as Sheehan's going down into 3, coming through 3 and 4 onto the front stretch. So I'd say within 2 to 3 laps, Mitch, we're going to have a lot of lap traffic for these guys to deal with, and I'm willing to bet that is when Dave Comstock will start making his moves.
Well, not only that, John, it's if you can get underneath that 66 of Sheehan, just on that top line with a lap car, trying to use the lap cars to pick, that can work too. So maybe that's what David Comstock was waiting for, waiting for some lap traffic to come along and maybe help him out to try and get by that 66 of Steve Sheehan. That's
a possibility. I'll tell you what, wow, Sheehan really hung her out there coming out of the 4s. I don't know if he touched the wall, but he was about as close as you can get. I don't think you could have slipped a piece of paper through between his car and the wall right there.
I don't think so, John. I was going to comment on that. Maybe Sheehan getting a little bit tight here. So Comstock still looking in good shape. So maybe Comstock really has been saving his tires this run. Has been the same speed really as Sheehan the whole time, but maybe has a trick or two up his sleeve to keep that right front from wearing down just a little bit better than Sheehan.
Well, I noticed earlier in the run that 42 was kind of backing his corners up just a little bit more in to take a different line to the turn than anything, but it's helped him out. And I tell you what, he is right there on the bumper of Sheehan in that 66 car. And in the meantime, out front of Sheehan, the 22 of Nelson Rivera is getting closer and closer as well. So we're about to see a fight right here, Mitch. It looks like lap traffic is going to play a part in the end of this race.
That it is, John. Looks like we have a little over 15 laps, I think 16 or 17 laps to go here at Phoenix, and definitely getting down to crunch time here for David Comstock, and they are coming up on lap traffic right here. They're going to probably reach them in 1 and 2 this time by, so we'll see what happens here if Comstock tries to get up beside that 66 of Sheehan and try to use that lap traffic as a pick.
I tell you what, he's right there. I mean, Comstock is not losing any ground in 60s. Gets right up on his bumper there on exit of 2, coming down to the dog leg. And I'm telling you, this is it. This is where we're going to see Comstock start making his moves, is in and out of this, weaving in and out of this traffic as the 22 car of Rivera gives them all the room in the world way up high there in 3 and 4 as they come back up onto the front stretch here. Looks like the 42 is going to lose a little bit of ground there because he had to take a lower line than he normally does to 3 and 4.
That he did. And, we didn't really talk a lot about how the lap traffic would affect Comstock, John, but definitely there did lose him a little bit of time. But you see off of turn number 2, he just pulls right back up to where he was before that all happened. So Comstock not going away anytime soon, showing Sheehan that he's not going anywhere.
I love watching these two battle each other, man. It's not the first time we watched them battle. Not going to be the last, I'm sure. But in the meantime, just ahead of them, we have that beat-up Twitch car, that purple beast of Jordan Hightower, 25 there. He's still on track, God bless him. A little worse for wear, but he's out there. In the meantime, it looks like Comstock right back up on the bumper of Sheehan once again, coming down across the the backstretch there through 3 and 4.
And Comstock was getting incredibly loose there. As you see, Hightower hit the wall there through 3 and 4, but Comstock got incredibly loose off turn number 2 that last time. A couple times he had to make a couple corrections on that car. So we'll see. Maybe Comstock's tires starting to go away a little bit here, John, at the end of this run.
Well, you know, that's to be expected. They've been out now on these tires for over 50 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to start seeing some slipping and sliding, especially with our track temperature up to a whopping 118 degrees, man.
Wow.
That's the highest it's been all day. So this track's going to start getting slicker and slicker. And we got old tires. And this is where the men step up and the boys sit down.
That it is, as we see more lap traffic. That is the 89 of Brian Wortman up on the high side, giving these guys lots of room. Good job by him, as Comstock still right on that bumper, just waiting to strike here on that number 66 of Steve Sheehan. And Comstock, they got close, almost. Big trouble for Comstock there on the outside. But
he didn't even let up.
He didn't. He act like nothing happened.
He thinks he's at Eldora. I'm just saying, man. He went in there 3 wide in the middle there. I could see his door numbers from behind. I mean, that's just crazy. Never even lifted out of the gas, and look at him still making a challenge for that lead on the 66 of Steve Sheehan.
What a race for the lead here, John. Sheehan with his hands full of that number 42 of Dave Comstock, his rear bumper right on that back bumper of that number 66. And Sheehan's got to be getting a little bit nervous now, John. Looks like Comstock is on a mission to try and win this race.
I'm saying if we could see Comstock's forehead, I wonder if we'd see one of those kamikaze headbands on there, man. The way he's driving right now. I mean, he's just sitting down in a three wide, no worries at all. He is right up on the bumper of the 66 now, going down to that flat turn 3 and 4. He's going to drift up a little bit, try and arc it down here and get a decent run coming off of 4. But does he have the tires to do something like that? I don't know, man. He's peaking, but he just can't get his nose up to that inside quarter panel.
You saw him just get a little bit loose there. You saw the hands working off of turn number 4. We're on board with Davis Comstock right now. It's off at turn number 2 here, still right on that back bumper, just waiting for Sheehan to make a mistake, so he can pounce on that 66 and try and take that lead away. As Comstock floats up in 3 and 4 there a little bit, as you see coming off turn number 4, still on board with Comstock, and look at him work with those hands, John, trying to keep that thing out of the wall, trying to win this race, trying to take it away from Steve Sheehan.
In the meantime, we're under 10 laps to go. We got 9 laps to go at this time by, and this race is coming down to the wire. And it's I'll tell you right now, it's do or die time for Comstock in that 42. If he wants this race, he's going to have to get up there and rattle the cage in the 66 car. He's doing everything he can right now, short of bumping him and moving him out of the way. And you got to give him props for that. But at what point do you decide this is enough? There he is. He's got the corner down there. He's got the nose on going down to 1. Will he maybe make it stick? Is he going to be able to take that lead? Or is the 66 going to power back by on the outside? Oh, they both wiggle a little bit. Neither one of them giving him an inch. Going down to the dog leg. It's still nose to nose. The 42 of Comstock down the inside, going down to 3 and 4. The 66 of Sheehan on the outside. Neither one of them giving an inch right here, Mitch. And it looks like coming off of 4, it's going to be Sheehan still with the lead. And Comstock's going to fall back in place in second place right there.
What a race for the lead here, John, as Comstock had a glimmer of hope there. I don't think he lifted when he got loose off of turn number 2 there. He was sideways coming off of that turn, and might have burned up his tires a little bit doing that. Going to have 6 laps to go at the line here. And Comstock falling back a little bit from Sheehan right now, but I'd imagine in a couple laps he'll be right back up there on the back bumper.
I tell you what, that was exciting. I mean, that really was. And I think you're right. I think Comstock probably overheated those tires a little bit. Going to let them cool off a little bit. In the meantime, we've had another retiree. Byron Daly's out of this race. I don't know what happened to him there, Mitch. He was doing pretty good for a while, but he has retired from the race officially. He's out. So back up front, Sheehan's got to be thinking to himself, what is this guy going to do? We've got 5 laps left to go right here at the flag. 5 laps to go, and he still has a mirror full of David Comstock in that 42.
Comstock's going to have to do something quick, John. If he's not quick about it, it's not going to happen. He's running out of time here at Phoenix in the FVG KN Series. Into turn number 3 here. Will we see Comstock lay that bumper down on that 66, or will we see him try and pass him clean? He's up on the high groove, Sheehan on the low groove. and they get about an even run off the corner, and Comstock still just back off the bumper of that 66, trying to find a way around him here late in the race.
Right now, Sheehan's like, oh gosh, I need a caution.
There it is. He's
Oh,
underneath him.
oh! Nope, he slams the door on him. Sheehan slams the door on Comstock. As I was saying, right now, Sheehan would love to see a caution. We don't have green-white checkers, folks. If the caution comes out right now, the race is over. In the meantime, behind him, Comstock's like, I don't want a caution. I want to race this thing out. We got cloud cover now. And down to 3 laps to go, and the cloud cover is going to come over, and our track temperature is only down 1 degree, so we're still pretty slick right now. We got old tires on both of these cars, over 50 laps on these tires. I'm guessing their fuel must be good because neither one of them are letting up right now, and we're going to see what's going to happen here shortly. Coming through 3 and 4 right now, you see 42 drift up just a little bit. Then he's going to try and arc it down and get a real good run coming off of 3 and 4 right here. He's going to get right back up on the bumper, duck down to the inside of Sheehan, going to go down to the inside again through turns 1 and 2. Mitch, we got to fight for the lead again coming through 1 and 2. Sheehan loses just a little bit of ground, but he's still on the outside, gets a pretty good run, power run coming off there, going down through the dog leg. It's still side by side. Comstock on the inside in the 42, Sheehan on the outside going down to 3 and 4. Will he make it this time, or will he drift up into the 66? I don't know.
White flag coming out the line this time, John. They're side by side for the lead. At the start-finish line, it's going to be Sheehan by about a nose into turn number 1. They're side by side still. Comstock with the lead into turn number 1. Sheehan with the run on the outside. As I say that, Comstock going to come away with the lead off of turn number 2. They're going down the back straightaway. And here comes Sheehan back on the inside, trying to get that win away from David Comstock after leading nearly every lap this race.
Coming down through 3 and 4 for the last time. Sheehan's got the edge on the inside. Oh, he gets loose a little bit. He's got to check up. He's going to give that win to Dave Comstock in the 42. Oh, my goodness. What a race. What a race. Steve Sheehan at 66 led every single lap except for the last one. Had his hands on that 42 coming through 3 and 4 that last time. Got a little bit loose, but I'll tell you what, folks, that's a race you'll love to see right there. 42 takes it cleanly. Doesn't wreck anybody to do it. And if you'll give us a few minutes, folks, we're going to catch our breaths. And we're going to try and track down these folks and get some words with them and get you some interviews here. All right, folks, we've got our breaths caught. We've got our hearts in check now. And if I'm not mistaken, Mitch has caught up with our 3rd place runner, Larry Pace. How about you, Mitch?
I'm down here on the pit road with Larry Pace. Larry, we saw at the start of that race there, you had a good run going and you caught the wall a little bit and spun her out. Good rebound though, finishing in the 3rd place. Tell me about your run.
That was an ugly race for me. Yeah, I was trying a little too hard behind Comstock there and didn't want to get into him, so I turned to the right rather than lifting and just put myself in the wall and spun out like a goof. After that, yeah, coming up through the field was super fun. I made some contact with someone and wrecked them, I think. I don't know if they came down or I came up. I'm going to have to look at it, but not the way I'd like to race. It was kind of a war of attrition for me after that. Big wreck down the front stretch, kind of inherited a few spots there.
Yeah, we definitely saw you coming up through the field there. The contact with Lockhart, we saw Lockhart was a little bit lower on the track than usual, and looked like just a combination of you going up a little bit and Lockhart coming down a little bit, just a racing incident. But nonetheless, you bring it home third place here tonight. Who do you want to thank for your run?
Everybody at Sim500, as always, they're doing such a great job putting these together. You guys, of course, are putting the broadcast on. You guys do a fantastic job every week. Everybody over on Drill Aisle, 3 Unit, Tyler Young, John Prather. That's about it. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Larry, and back up to you, John.
That was Larry Pace driving the 00 car, bringing it home in third after a rough start. I tell you what, I was good to see, and I hope he doesn't take any offense to my comments of bull in a china shop. I meant it well. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pace, for talking to us. We're still looking for our second place driver, Steve Sheehan. He's probably just taking a few deep breaths and calming down a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get our race winner up here into the booth with us. Dave Comstock, how you doing, buddy? This is John Mushton with SRN.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, now that I've caught my breath and gotten my heart rate down a little bit, buddy, that was one. That was probably one of the most exciting finishes to a race I think I've seen yet with this group of guys. Why don't you talk to us about your run, my friend?
Jeez, it was falling behind Steve and just trying to pick his line and pick where his weaknesses were. The pretty much 139 laps, that whole deal. Knew that I was better than him on that long run. The first one that we had before, I guess that last yellow we got or whatever, or last series of yellows, because they seem to come in clusters there. But you know, try to like save my tires a little bit, let him go out there, run some laps, and burn off his right front, and then see if I can run him back down. And I was able to kind of bring that deficit back a little bit, but we plateaued. So I'm like, okay, you know, next time we got a green flag run, I'm just gonna try to go as hard as we can and just keep up with him and see how that goes. And he made it really tough for me to get by him. Like, he was really doing a really good job of blocking the top. It was almost impossible to pass on the bottom there. And I was able to get a better cut. I was noticing he was kind of better than me in 3 and 4, and then I was better than him in 1 and 2. So I was able to get underneath him there that last couple laps and get it to cut through 1 and 2, and was able to finally get cleared. That spotter told me clear off 2, and I just tracked out to the wall and just holding him off from there, and I just battled to the line and running with Steve right there. That's a lot of respect. Hats off to him. Hate to on his side that he dominated pretty much the whole race and didn't get the win, but we've all been there on that side, and hats off to him. Respect with racing with him, as clean as that race was. That was really awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, I was commenting to my booth mate here, Mitch, that this was one of the cleanest races I've seen a guy take for a win. You're a better man than me, pal. I would have put that chrome horn to work probably about 10 laps earlier.
Yeah, I don't try to go out and do that kind of stuff. I mean, you race people how they race you, sort of aspect is how I go about it. So, you know, if you got somebody that you're racing with and they've got a past history that you've experienced with them where they get a bit aggressive on you, then you're going to do the same back to them because, you know, that's how they'd race you. But Steve, he's a real clean racer, so I got no problem, you know, with guys like him racing him clean and doing what we can do to, you know, put on a great show like we did tonight and run really clean. And, you know, it just improves our respects for not only ourselves, for each other, but, you know, amongst everybody else in the league. You know, that puts a lot of respects out there for all of us.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree 100% more with you, bud. So, you know, you brought home the win tonight. That's, I think, your second win on the season. Is there anybody you want to thank for your run tonight?
Yeah, I would like to thank everybody at Aftermath Motorsports, their support, Sim500 and the league admins, Ford Entertainment Group, them broadcasting the series. You guys are broadcasting as well for the series. Sponsors on the car, racingbiz.com. Go to Facebook and check out every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We got live auctions that go on for hero cards, die casts, door numbers, whatever you're looking to try to get there. They got all kinds of really cool stuff. You can go try to get some auctions and bids on and to win some cool stuff. So again, racingbids.com. And also, if you go to sellwithracingbids.com, you can make yourself a little bit of extra side cash by putting up some of your own stuff you want to try to make a quick buck on. So go check out them as well with sellwithracingbiz.com. Gary Mercer Trucking, Monster Energy, JD Lair, JDR Graphics, them painting my car, and everybody out there watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
You sound like you've done this a few times, my friend.
A couple.
Well, folks, that was your winner, Dave Comstock, with the Old Schools Graphics and Designs Victory Lane interview. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mitch has finally caught up with our second place driver, Steve Sheehan.
Yeah, it took Steve Sheehan a few minutes to catch his breath after that one. A little bit of disappointment here with Steve Sheehan as he comes away with second after leading almost every lap in that race. Steve, tell me a little bit about your race. You dominated the whole thing from start almost to finish there. Last lap, David Comstock got the best of you.
It was an awesome race. I knew David was fast just from watching him stalk me for the whole race, and we actually compared tire wear. We can do that in sim during one of the pit stops after a long green flag run around lap 70 or so, I think. And I could tell just by what he said with his tires that he was driving way better than me. So I mean, I knew he would be there at the end, and we just got a long run, and he was there. I couldn't hold the bottom or the top as good as him, and he just had to get enough of his car either under me or above me, and I was just along for the ride at that point. So awesome race to him. I knew he'd be fast, and not too much of a disappointment related to compared to most of the finishes I've been getting in this series here the past few times I've raced. So I'm happy with second, earned some points.
Definitely a good night for you, Steve. Got anything got anybody you want to thank for that second place run tonight?
Just you guys and Sim500, as always. You guys make this league and series what it is. I'm just happy to be here. I've been streaming a few of these races, and I'm going to still be trying to. And just the quality of the races, say everything about the league. I don't even have to say anything. People watch, and I'm sure they're coming looking to sign up. So just want to thank you guys, and hopefully I can keep gaining some points on Chad till the end.
Steve Sheehan, your second place finisher. John, back to you.
Thank you so much there, Mitch, for that awesome interview with a guy who really dominated a race and came home second. He's taken it pretty well. So that's it, folks. 140 laps at Phoenix International Raceway, the old version of it. A few in-race facts for you real quick. As I said, we had 140 laps, 6 cautions for 24 laps. That's not too bad considering where we're at. 3 lead changes, Mitch. 3. That's it through 140 laps. As I stated, Steve Sheehan led 138 laps out of the 140. Doug Sigmund is credited with leading 1 lap. And Dave Comstock, our race winner, he led 1 lap. And guess which one it was? The only one that counted, that last lap. So, folks, that was a very exciting race. And like the guy said, if you want to join the fun, get your subscription to iRacing.com, get your computer and wheels set up from Jeff Scott over at Ford Entertainment Group, and then jump on Sim500.com and sign up for one of their awesome series they've got. Or heck, do all of them if you want to, if you have that kind of time on your hands. So as we wind things down here at Phoenix, my takeaway from this race is, once again, great racing. These guys at Sim500 put on a great show every week. They get better and better and better. I've said it time in and time out with Ben. Every time we come to a new track with these guys, it's really fun to watch. They treat each other cleanly. There's not a whole lot of bumping and banging and intentional wrecking, which we do see sometimes. Overall, a great show. You got any thoughts?
Oh, I really enjoyed the race tonight, John. Just seeing the different times at the beginning and end of the runs between Comstock and Sheehan was kind of cool. I see Sheehan was really good at the beginning of those runs, but Comstock really showed that he was the dominant long run car here tonight, coming away with the win on that last really long green flag run, saving his tires and and putting on a heck of a show while doing so. So definitely made it exciting for us here up in the booth, and for everyone watching on the Sim Racing Network on the YouTube, and definitely a great night of racing here at Phoenix.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to say the championship's wrapped up by any means. We have one race left next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series here at Sim500. But Chad Coleman's got himself a pretty comfortable lead. They're going to update the points for us later on, and he's got a very comfortable lead. Had a decent finish tonight, so we saw that in the last half of the race. He just kind of backed off, and if somebody gave him a challenge for position, he let him go. So next week we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway, folks, and it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be, a greasy track. We all know that. Tires going to give up real quick, and we're going to decide a championship that week, and we hope to see you guys there. As I said earlier, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Just head over to youtube.com/Sim Racing Network. Hit that subscribe button. Be sure to turn on notifications so you can be notified whenever we go live. You can also join us on Facebook. Head to facebook.com/the Sim Racing Network. And if you want more, well, by gosh, we can give it to you. You can also find us over on the web at thesimracingnetwork.com. For Mitch Rollo here in the booth, Aaron Grosskopf doing the backup stuff for us behind the scenes, and my mentor and my friend, Ben Kilcrease, I'm John Mushin for the Sim Racing Network from Phoenix, Arizona. We bid you a fond adieu. Remember, when you're out there driving, put the phone down. Texts and calls can wait. Your life and someone else's may depend on it. God bless and have a good evening.